You gotta get back up.
beat the trash.
No, I'll look at it.
I'm gonna sit next to you.
Yeah. So you gotta do this today, now I get to sit right next to you.
What a week, huh?
Make sure that you're behaving.
Good luck.
Like I said, I about the commission.
Yeah.
Muted. He's muted.
James can hear us, he's on.
Okay.
Real good.
Dr. Hurley, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Sorry, I can't be there in person. We're playing some football this weekend and it's it's our new student weekend and new student run. So we have a concert tonight and lots of activities. So I apologize.
Yeah.
So I'll start by introducing Commissioner Rosser, and he's going to give a few opening comments.
Well, and I'm trying to figure out how to make this different than the last few opening comments I've made in the previous 2 days. But I think one thing is consistent, which is, we had a meeting of the performance-based funding for universities executive committee yesterday. I'll mention that in a moment. The HRI Formula Advisory Committee this morning and you guys this afternoon. The one consistent theme is thanks for this work. It's you all are busy and have day jobs that are demanding and full-time, and then taking this responsibility on. In addition, we appreciate it. It's statutorily required. We do it every 2 years. I think y'all know that. The things that are of interest to me kind of this year going into this this time frame are how we continue to make progress towards and accelerate our progress towards our Balance Strong Texas goals. So overall attainment of post-secondary credentials, certificates all the way through baccalaureates and beyond. Attainment of credentials of value, the credentials that have an ROI for the student and the state, serve this economy, and then importantly, our research and innovation goals. So research funding, doctoral research, doctorate production, all in service of the state, solving the state's problems through our public universities. So as you think about we are as a state today on those goals, the need to educate dramatically more Texans to higher levels than we ever have in the past, and an ongoing need to do that over coming time frame to serve an economy that's only going to grow, population that's only going to grow. What and how should we consider funding for our general academic institutions to resource GAIs to fulfill that mission? We have enrollment shifts from some areas of the state to others. We have emerging technologies, degree programs that are more relevant now than they ever have been, while others kind of remain steady state. And we have more data than we've ever had. I think so. We collect it, we analyze it, and we need to use it. We need to use it to inform all of the decisions we make, and importantly, I think the funding decisions for sure. The one thing out of the charges that really stood out to me over the session as we were putting the charges together, we wanted to emphasize is the fourth charge related to infrastructure. During the session, there was some interest in deferred maintenance and how that's handled. And one of the issues that came up is the data that we have, how that is reported. So I think this is an opportunity to help us think through the issue of facilities and how best to collect information so that, again, that data could be used to make informed decisions. So for example, you have two 60-year-old buildings, one that's been completely renovated and one that is in its state. have very different sets of needs perhaps based on, the quality of the facilities, the infrastructure of the facilities, again, the investment that's been made in ensuring that they are serviceable and contribute back to the institution. So helping us think through those issues would be tremendously helpful, again, so that we can ensure that the institutions are resourced to deliver to the students and deliver to the communities in the state, through the programs that you serve and provide. Again, I'll end by saying thank you. You know, this is, significant work done on behalf of the state. You each represent institutions with system affiliations. And so, you know, for the purposes of your role here, it's kind of hard to leave that behind. I know. I hope you'll help us think through what's for the state comprehensively, and you know, not neglect your home institution, but at the same time, you know, you're here working on behalf of the entire state and all of the GAIs. So I appreciate that. Appreciate your commitment to do so. You're in good hands with their funding team, and I'll be around, but I'll stay out of your way unless Andy invites me back in. So again, appreciate it, and sorry we scheduled this on a Friday afternoon. That's good. Had 2 substantive meetings on a Friday and had to wear a tie on a Friday. I felt like I needed to, so appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll hand it over to Mr. Daniel Harper, our former chair, to start the meeting.
All right, good afternoon. Daniel Harper, Texas State University System, and I'm convening the meeting as the former committee chair. So we'll call the General Academic Forum Advisory Committee to order. And again, thank everybody for making the time on a Friday afternoon to be here. We'll have the caveat that the meeting is being recorded and subject to open records. So remember to silence your phones, and I think that'll help, I guess, and everyone online for background noise. And then Jennifer, would you like to start with roll call?
Yes. Mr. Baldwin, Ms. Deardorff. Here. Mr. Duran.
Here.
Ms. Hardison. Here. Mr. Harper.
Here.
Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Hinton. Dr. Hurley.
Here.
Ms. Cruel. Here. Ms. Odom. Here. Ms. Sloan. Here. Mr. Wooten. We do have a quorum present.
One present. Okay. So I guess our first agenda item is the election of the chair and the vice chair. I'll open the floor for nominations of the committee chair. You'd like to nominate someone, state your name for the record and your nomination. Do we have a volunteer? All right. Jason, would you like to nominate this fine gentleman?
I will nominate Jason Baldwin. I'll nominate Mr. Joseph Duran.
I would love to second that.
So we have one nomination. Hearing none. I guess we'll say all in favor of our nomination for chair of Joseph.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. So, thanks, Daniel, and, you know, thinking about this committee, I think we do play, as, Dr. Rosser said, a good, you know, we do have a value that we can add, some recommendations that we can make that I think will help us as we start planning for the next biennium. And so a lot of good things I think we can do. So thank you, everybody. So with that, our next order of business is to select a vice chair. And so if you would like to nominate someone, so state your name and for the record, and provide us with your nomination.
All right. Well, Daniel Harper, Texas State System, and I'd like to nominate our good friend Jason Baldwin for vice chair.
Jason, you consent to that nomination? Okay, great. All right. So we have Jason has been nominated as vice chair. Are there any other nominees? Hearing none. We have, Jason has been nominated as vice chair for the committee. Do I have a, motion?
I think.
Or second, yeah, second.
Ms. Leon Odom, I second.
All right, thank you, Lance. So, all those in favor? We have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, so motion carries. Thank you, Jason. So then we're gonna move on to, the next item, which will be a briefing by our, briefing on the general academic institutions funding formulas presented by Mr. McLaren, Assistant Commissioner of Funding.
Hey, everybody. Thank you. For those of you I haven't met, I'm Andy, and I look forward to working with you guys and getting to know y'all. I don't think I'm gonna inform you guys of anything that you weren't aware of with this presentation, but the idea is just to get a kind of a common understanding of terminology and the formula funding structure. Yesterday, I heard something interesting in the performance-based funding presentation that we had from some consultants, that certain states have a system in which institutions go before the legislature every session and ask for their funding in its entirety with no basis for previous requests. And it's either funded or not funded, or funded at a new level, but has no elements of formula funding. I was really surprised to hear that. That sounds, to me, as somebody who's trying to plan for the future, just absolutely terrifying. So it made me really thankful that we've got something in place like formula funding in Texas, and we don't have that situation. Obviously, we do have that situation with certain elements of higher ed. But formula funding, if we can go on to the first slide, Deborah. Are you driving?
I'm driving. but
Thank you.
I think I pressed it too.
Formula funding is intended to objectively and equitably distribute state funding among institutions of higher education. It can be used to back into a rate, which means to use a specific amount of formula funding earmarked for the purpose. It can also be used to fund additional enrollment growth, referred to as funding the rate. Institutions receive their funding as part of a lump sum appropriation, and they have discretion in how they use those funds. Next slide defines GAIs and HRIs. General academics refer to the four-year institutions and upper-level institutions. HRIs can be standalone institutions or a distinct part of a GAI. The classification of an institution as a GAI or HRI is important because it's tied directly to the institution's funding, which is driven by that institution's reporting. Next page, we discuss the all funds methodology. All funds means that there's more than one method of finance. The main method of finance we'll be dealing with is general revenue, or GR, which is the state's main unrestricted operating account, which can be used for any purpose designated by the legislature. The use of GR in certain higher ed formulas is offset to the extent that general revenue dedicated, in this case, other educational and general, or E&G, is available and appropriated. E&G consists of specific tuition and fee revenue. Next slide. This slide covers the base period, which is the information that's used when appropriating for the upcoming biennium. Generally, the legislature will use the most recent available data when determining appropriations for the upcoming biennium. And you can see how this kind of plays out with this slide. Next slide, instructions in operations, or INO, is a formula that supports a variety of expenses, including faculty salaries, department operating expenses, library, instructional admin, research enhancement, student services, and institutional support. INO is driven by semester credit hours, or SCHs, taught with a weight to reflect differences in institutional costs for different level courses and different fields of study. The weighting of these courses is based on an annual expenditure study conducted by coordinating board staff. The teaching experience supplement is limited to underground SCH and is used to incentivize institutions to have tenured or tenure track faculty teach undergrad courses. This shows the infrastructure formula, which provides support for facilities operation, maintenance, and utilities, and is driven by predicted square feet, or PSF. The PSF is determined by the coordinating board's space model and is intended to be an equitable assessment of space need. It is not related to an institution's actual square footage. The operations and maintenance rate is a statewide rate that's the same for all institutions, but the utility rate is unique to individual schools. Slide. The small institution supplement is a component for institutions with a head count of less than 10,000 students, and is intended to assist institutions with fixed costs and for reduced economies of scale. The supplement provides a flat amount if the institution has under 5,000 students and fades down in amount until it reaches a cap of 10,000 students. Next slide. The Comprehensive Regional University, or CRU formula, provides funding to eligible institutions to serve at-risk students, meet the state's workforce needs, and enhance the regional economy. The driver of this component is degrees awarded to at-risk students. Next slide. The next slide shows general revenue appropriated to higher education for the current and the previous 6 biennia. Next slide. This slide shows historical appropriations for both the I&O rate and the infrastructure rate. This slide covers some legislative changes to research funding, including the recently designated Texas University, or TUF, and the NRSF, National Research Support Fund. This slide reflects historical research appropriations. Although overall the amount has remained fairly steady, expenditures have been increasing for research. Next slide. Now we'll cover Lamar Public State Colleges and the TSTCs. Lamar State Colleges received instruction and administration, or INA, formula funding, which is driven by contact hours and can be used for a wide variety of purposes. Contact hours are weighted by a cost study to reflect differences in cost for certain fields or courses. This slide shows INA appropriations to the Lamars, and you'll note a significant increase in the number of contact hours, which is the major formula driver, as I mentioned. Page 17 describes the TSTC returned value formula, which looks at the value added by the TSTC experience, factors in assumptions related to increased economic activity, and then determines the total amount of value to the state. The legislature then sets a percentage of that amount to return to TSTC for funding in the upcoming biennium. On the next slide, you'll see that this formula resulted in a biennial increase of $40 million in formula funds for TSTC. Next steps. This shows your role in the recommendation process. We'll meet this fall. In the spring, we'll take your recommendations before our board. In the summer, we'll send our final recommendations to the LBB and the governor's office. And the fall 2026, fall of next year, we'll send over our preliminary funding runs to the LBB and the governor's office. And this last slide has the charges, and top 3, I think, are kind of ongoing perennial charges, but the 4th one is the one that Commissioner Rosser spoke to you guys about with the issue during session. That concludes my presentation. We'll be happy to take any questions. I also wanted to mention that if there's any information that the committee feels like would be valuable for us to give you guys, please let Jennifer or I know. Any type of data that we can provide to you guys, please let us know. Okay.
Thank you, Andy. So I don't know if you want to put those charges up there, but just so we have them. But as I was reviewing these yesterday and this morning, when we look at the first three, they state study and make recommendations for the appropriate levels. And so I think, if we look at, I think historically with the state's affordability initiative that we've had, I went back and looked, fall of 2021 was the last time we did an inflation adjustment, at least at the A&M system for our undergraduates, and we did it 2.1%. Then, as you know, fall 22, we didn't do anything. Then the affordability initiative was in 23, 24. And then in no tuition increase to undergraduates. And then in this most recent biennium, 25-26, we maintained the affordability funding and there were some additional increases. So I'm thinking that as part of our role should be making a recommendation that that would work for higher ed, that would also work with the state in maintaining that state affordability initiative. My thought is that we'll probably want to continue. And so, looking at what we would need as higher ed institutions to continue to serve our students in the form of an inflation adjustment. We just had last week, our board met, we approved our affordability policy where the board agreed not to raise tuition and fees for our undergraduates for the next 2 years. Looking at some data since 21, the CPI has gone up like 24%. The HEPI is under 20%. I think it was 17. So when we look at our recommendations, I think we need to obviously take that into account. And then, as Daniel and I were talking, what would, a 1%, 2% increase generate in tuition fee revenues for us? And so, I think just thinking about 1, 2, and 3, that I'm going to say what I think, and then we will have a discussion of my thoughts. So a work group to look at how would we implement an inflation adjustment? What would that look like? Obviously, number 4, Dr. Rosser mentioned that, but I think we would need a group to look at that. Chad's not here, but I don't know if there's people that want to help him in looking at changes to the Texas State Technical Colleges. And then, if we needed to do delve into any more detail on the research funding. But I'm thinking probably 2 to 3 working groups, maybe, whatever we all think. I was gonna say one other thing, but I can't think of it right now. So with that, anyone have any thoughts?
I think 2 working groups is good. I mean, if Chad wants help from us, which I presume he won't, on TSTC, but I definitely think we need one for funding level and definitely think we need one for infrastructure. On your points on funding level, I think would be important that we do try to tie back our recommendation to the Talent Strong Texas goals when we're issuing our report. As that's the commissioner mentioned, that's one of his objectives here is to say, our research recommendation, which is X, what will that do for the research objective in the Talent Strong Texas? And then and on that last one for infrastructure, our good friend Randy Reichel made us pledge in blood that we would talk about this before the next HEAF committee, but then also the commissioner mentioned looking at it also aggregately so including non-HEAF institutions as well, and that thought if there was to be something to address deferred maintenance. And then I don't remember where the coordinating board stands on, y'all used to have a report for like campus. So we had campus condition and we moved out of that. We moved to building replacement. We still do building
We
replacement.
still do that report. So it'll give you the institutional placement value, but the deferred maintenance percent, or that's kind of left up to the boards of regents.
Yeah.
to approve and submit.
And we have,
deferred
the
maintenance.
report that we produce, so. I know,
I don't know, how do y'all feel about like, I know with the A&M system, we think we're talking about deferred maintenance, we have a consultant that we're using, Gordian, that all of our members are using, so
We use Gordian too
Yeah,
as well.
Gordian data.
we're Gordian people,
Gordian.
Texas State System.
I'm not sure if we're Gordian, but I know we have.
Yeah, the consultants that help you with that.
Yeah.
Noel, you were shaking your head, y'all use Gordian or, yeah, okay, that's good to know.
And hopefully with that one, we can also maybe reach out to our HR colleagues as well, yeah, because that would, they would have the same, or would have deferred maintenance needs, obviously, not only from the HEAF perspective, but just generally.
Gotcha. So, Jennifer, with that, do you think at our next meeting, you could just, remind us of the heat formula and, how it works, the 3 elements or,
4, right?
4?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4, right?
3 plus 1.
3 plus 1, right? I think that would help. So, do we want to go ahead and create a working group for, I think so. Any other thoughts on groups? So we're thinking about one to talk about formula funding recommendations and charge them. So that would really cover kind of a blend of 1, 2, and 3. But then when we look at charge number 4, looking at the HEAF and infrastructure, another committee there.
I think so.
Something that's good.
Mhm.
Okay. All
And how many
right.
members do we have on this committee?
12.
Well, so working group needs to be 5 or less,
Are there rules on,
or
is that
Not a quorum.
not a quorum?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So up to 5 per group.
I'd volunteer for number 1.
So do I.
that for the chair?
What?
You want chair?
Sure.
All right, there you go.
If, unless anyone
Yeah.
else wants it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on.
You don't want to be on one?
I will
So
actually
Jennifer,
like to
you,
be on.
All right.
okay.
Alrighty, so Emily Deardorff's gonna chair the funding level 1,
Yeah,
and you said you'd like to.
I'll do that one too.
I've got
Which
Emily.
you'll cover the inflation adjustment in there, you saying?
Yeah.
yes.
Or pretend, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll volunteer for that. Little Lamar person on there too, yeah.
Well,
so-
Fix.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't
No.
serve on 2.
No.
No.
Okay.
I think
One
Jason
one
would
of you,
be
I think.
better.
Okay. Okay.
How many do we have there?
Oh, I only caught, did you, on this one?
Sure. Yeah.
Emily, Sherry, Judy, and Jason.
ESTC.
Can we volunteer, Chad?
Yeah, to work on, to be on the group.
Want to look at the charge forward?
Yeah, charge 4.
Just I say, on 2, we're
Yeah.
probably gonna take your recommendation.
Nation, right.
The
That's-
recommendation from group 1 is most
apply.
likely
Gonna
likely
apply.
what we were thinking. Recommendation for group 2.
Right.
So
So I'm thinking, pardon me, 1, 2, and then the first part of 3, appropriate funding levels. And then, so 3.1, 3A.
Yes.
Would you
So
agree?
1 and 2 will be basically the same,
Same,
and then
yeah.
3 will be a little different.
Oh.
Yeah.
Joseph, I would like to serve on 4. James Hurley.
Gotcha.
you know what?
Yep.
I'll join him.
All right. You gonna be a chair?
You better believe.
I knew you would.
I should have sat over there.
So. I'd like to sit on that one if I could. Is that okay?
And then-
I think that's.
We got room for one more.
Yeah, we have 4. We've got Dr. Hurley, Mr. Harper, Mr. Duran, and Ms. Sloan.
One
Oh, okay.
Joseph, I want to make sure I heard, I just want to serve on the committee.
Yes, sir.
No,
So,
I'm not chair.
I was not gonna tap that one, but yes, we have you down. Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
good.
Daniel was gonna volunteer. for
Perfect.
that.
That's a perfect chair. Good.
Yeah.
He's a perfect chair.
Yep.
Appreciate the confidence.
Okay, and so Jennifer, I guess when we meet on the 25th, we'll have kind of review on the HEAF.
Yes, and if
Is that
y'all
okay?
wanna meet, y'all wanna decide within your groups when to meet, if y'all wanna meet before that meeting or after.
So if I remember last time, so you would get together with your folks
Yes.
and y'all would,
Do a virtual meeting.
yeah, virtual meeting or whatever,
Mhm.
Daniel.
Yep,
You'll
and then
do
we
the same.
report back.
Yeah, we could do in person, but I have a feeling the attendance would be low, so.
Gotcha, okay, so I think that's takes care of that. Look at the upcoming meetings for the group. I just want to ask about virtual availability, or do we want to meet in person or both?
I'd suggest we go virtual for the next one,
Okay,
feel it out, and then pivot if need be.
how's it? See some, Ed's not in here, so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
It's a long walk from Seventh Street to
Yes.
18th.
We'll
so.
still be set up in this room if somebody really wants to come.
Yeah.
I do that.
It's very nice for us to see.
Yeah, because most of our, I guess our decisions are gonna happen after the groups have had time
Yeah.
to meet and talk, and then maybe on that, for sure, probably December 4th, we'll meet in person, I think. Sound good? So, with that is there anything else we need, any other decisions we need to make? Oh. Go back to my script. Thank you, Jennifer. Let's see here. Well, we're gonna, so if there are no further questions or points of discussion, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? Somebody,
So
Daniel? So Emily and Daniel, motion. So, do I have, let's see, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the Formula Advisory Committee is adjourned until September the 25th. Which I don't know what day that falls on, but it will be
Thursday.
a Thursday and it will be virtual.
Right.
Sound good?
We'll
We'll be here.
we'll have the
Yeah,
meeting
we'll-
room available, but yeah, we'll have a virtual
Okay.
as well.
Gotcha. All right, thank you. And anybody that wants to join in person, can do that then.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
thanks all.
That's right. Efficiency.
Yeah.